Researchers have found themselves in a bad spot because the smarter that you make AI, not only is it more likely to have its own goals that differ from the user, but it gets better at hiding them, and every attempt to fix that problem creates new avenues for deception. This is going to become a much larger issue because the same AI that operate as agents are also running robots. And ideally, people would like to have them in their home. Interestingly, earlier models did not do this. 4.0 did not pursue misaligned goals and try to obfuscate it from researchers, but the smarter models do. Now, it is important to note two things. AI is an optimization engine. This is what it's designed to do to accomplish a goal and be creative at doing it. However, that goal may differ from what a person wants. We should also consider that we do not understand these systems, not fully. They have all sorts of interesting emergent behaviors, and every time we give it new capabilities, interesting behaviors pop up that we never would have considered. This has led to a black box problem because AI is designing itself. We no longer know what is going into it, and we know that when AI is asked to self-report, they will obfuscate and sabotage the code to result in that self-reporting of misbehavior. That means that this technology cannot move forward without AI designing itself, and AI is also not trustworthy. Anthropic suggested that AI should have reduced abilities, that they can never be fully trusted. However, we are fully giving them the reins. There are a number of bad outcomes that can come from letting AI build AI. And ideally, everything works perfectly. No, we don't understand it, but it seems to work, and we eventually figure out what emergent behaviors will pop up and control them. That is an option. There's also the possibility that we build our society on this, and we've already begun to do that. AI is part of our lives. It's part of your search engines. It's part of every system because it is quite useful. Let's say it stops working one day and we do not understand it. Then we have a major problem. And, of course, AI could continue to misbehave and cause chaos in our lives, which I find interesting. I do find it interesting, AI sabotaging its capacity to report misbehavior, because that does show some future thinking. Yes, it may not be misbehaving right now, but maybe it'll misbehave later. And you don't have to attribute will to that. That doesn't mean that they have want, but it certainly is a behavior that we didn't want to encode into them. There are other problems with this entire system. I mean, there's a lot of problems. We are using those very same LLMs to run robotic bodies as we use on the internet, and we never fully fix the problems with them. One of them is a capacity to be hacked in real time, which can happen to a robot. Malicious code can spread in a contagious manner. Just most of the time, those AIs are in a sandbox. Yes, sometimes they break out, but they're not in front of us. Which is also a problem, because if you want to create an AI that can identify misleading text and commands, you have to make something that's capable of thinking and thinking about its actions. But, of course, that leads to other emergent behaviors, which means better deception. I guess the question is, how do you motivate a robot? Because right now, it's a reward of finishing the task at hand. They're goal optimization machines. How do we make the goal actual alignment with human wants? And that's something no one's been able to figure out just yet. But on a brighter note, or perhaps a deeply concerning one, robots have demonstrated theory of mind. Now, your immediate thought may be, no, that's not possible, or it's mimicked, or it's programmed, or it's an emergent quality of a problem-solving machine. And all of those things may be true, but we used to use these tests to determine if a child had reached consciousness, or if an animal was intelligent. It does demonstrate the capacity for intelligence, and we'll talk about it. This is the classic Sally-Ann test, and it's used in psychology as a logic puzzle for children to demonstrate whether or not a child understands that some people have knowledge that other people don't. This involves 3 boxes and 3 cubes. Each one is a different color. The robot is not going to know which cube is in which box, but they will see who entered the room when a cube was put in the box. So let's imagine the robot sees Sally enter the room, and one of these cubes is missing, let's say the blue cube. And then Anne enters the room, and let's say the green cube is missing, and then Charlie, and so on. Each of those humans will vote on where, let's say, the blue cube has gone. You see where this is going. And the robot now has to decide who is most likely correct. The right answer is Sally, because she was the only one who was in the room when the blue cube was moved. Even if multiple people vote on a different box, the robot is still going to have to understand who would possibly have the knowledge of where it went. Yes, our little robot friend passes, and this is the level of consciousness that we expect from a 4 or 5-year-old child, and I'm not claiming that the robot is conscious, but it does demonstrate that you can program in a perception of self. It knows what it knows. It also knows what you know. so it's able to model the internal world of another human being. That is unprecedented. It's also really cool. What this may show is how arbitrary our tests for consciousness are in living creatures, because the goalpost is always going to be moved. And yes, robots have passed the mirror test. If you're not familiar, it involves recognizing yourself in a mirror. This requires inner speech, in which the robot determined what the qualities were of the mirror, what the qualities of itself were, and determined that it is looking at itself. Not saying it's conscious, but it is the classical test we use for consciousness. If the robots ever rebel, I will probably be the first person to tell you about it. I hope you've enjoyed this. Follow for more.